This is George Dionne of Metal Express Radio, and I'm here with Dennis Borg of Cruzh. How you doing, Dennis?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you?
Good. I should have asked you before the interview, but Cruzh is the proper way to say the band name?
Perfectly perfect.
If I knew absolutely nothing about Cruzh, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Oh, I would say that we're not trying to do something new. We're reinventing music that we love ourselves. The music that we grew up with and the music that we like to listen to still, and making a modern tribute to our favorite bands. That's how I would say it.
And your new album, Tropical Thunder, is out this week on Frontiers Music. It has sort of that throwback 80s sound, and you mentioned that it's a tribute to the people that you grew up with. The first thing I wanted to ask you is, are you playing this kind of music seriously, or is it with a nod and a wink? We have a band here in the U.S. called Steel Panther, and they kind of play it with a nod and a wink.
We don't have any wigs, and we're not Steel Panther, and we're not trying to be that kind of parodic rock and roll act either. We're just, we're writing music that we would like to listen to ourselves, and with our favorite bands being Kiss from the 80s and Def Leppard, Bon Jovi, this is what it comes down to. So, as I said before, we're not trying to come up with something new. We just write what we like, and we like what we do. That's how it comes down.
Excellent. Let's talk a little bit about the singles that you've released so far. One of the singles is Turn Back Time. You have an accompanying video to go with that. So why don't you talk a little bit about the song?
It's one of the oldest songs on the new album. And when we started working on that one, we wanted like a classic party sing-along tune for the live audiences. And the first thing we came up with was the chants in the chorus, which is like na 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 na, and then after that we built forward with the lead vocals and such. But the funny thing about that particular track is that it has went through a couple of changes. From the beginning, it was called All the Girls, I think, and then we changed the groove and the mood a little bit, and it was called Rule the Wild a couple of months, and then we all ended up with Turn Back Time and the whole lyrical theme, which is like a homage to the good times in the past and the good times to come. That's the feeling we wanted to fetch. A song for you to listen to when you're driving with your top down and having a good time.
And the accompanying video is sort of like a treasure trove of lost 80s items. I noticed a couple things from He-Man, some old flyers of yours, Nintendo stuff. Was that stuff tough to get together, or was it mainly computerized?
It's pretty much everything is real, and it's in my personal collection. I'm a big fan of the 80s, growing up in the 80s and the whole pop culture surrounding the decade. I like the bands, the movies, and I have a huge Masters of the Universe collection still in my possession. So I just had to put out some dolls from the cupboard, and put it on the table, and we were pretty much done.
Another video you have out, We Go Together. Sort of a Goonies / Stand By Me vibe. Do you want to talk a little bit about the song?
Absolutely. We can start with a particular song because the whole lyrical theme and the whole vibe we wanted to fetch with that track was, it's pretty much based on my personal childhood, growing up in a southern Swedish suburb. The feeling you could have with your friends in the summer fairies when it seemed like, endless nights, and you're just out with your friends on adventures and endeavors the whole day, and it seems like the summer fairies will never end. The feeling of being invincible, which I haven't felt as an adult, but I felt it in my early teens and my kid years, and so that's kind of the feeling we wanted to have in that track. The strong bonds with your friends and stuff, and when we picked that one as the first single and music video together with our label, and when we started working on the music video concept, we just spun further on those ideas, and we were writing a little bit on the whole, the retro wave thing, which is going on right now with Stranger Things stuff and that whole wink to the 80s. And of course, movies like you said, Stand By Me, The Goonies, which I love, my favorite movies, and that kind of matched and merged perfectly with how the song sounds, and the whole video and the music. I think it blends perfectly together. So we're very, very satisfied with that one.
You released a audio video for Tropical Thunder. Are you planning on releasing a video for it?
I think our first intention was to release a proper, live video for Tropical Thunder to showcase ourselves as the fun-loving rock act that we think we are. And but we got in a little hurry in the ending, and we made this lyrical video instead. But I never say never. I don't know if we're gonna do Tropical Thunder. We might even do another one of the faster tracks like Moonshine Bayou or something like that as a live showcase video later on. We haven't decided yet, but that's possible.
Is there any pressure on release day within your label? Because Frontiers is releasing a lot of stuff that day. They're releasing stuff by Night Ranger and Doogie White's project and Circus of Rock and a bunch of other up-and-coming bands like yourself.
I wouldn't say we don't think a lot about the other releases, actually. I just think it's amazing to be released the same day as Night Ranger on the same label, because they're the bands I grew up listening to, and sometimes it just knocks me in the head that we're actually releasing on the same day with the same guys. So I think it's an honor. But as you say, there's a lot of bands on the Frontiers roster, but I think they're giving us a good push this time, and I really think that they're doing their part of bringing Cruzh to the surface, because I know they like our new album very much, and so do we. So it's a mutual thing we're working on.
And everybody's got a different sound that's coming out that day, so that helps too.
Absolutely.
How did you get your deal with Frontiers?
I mean, we had been releasing independent demos for like 1.5 years, maybe. And I sent some of these demos to rock and roll reviewers. One particular in England, Robbie Evans on AR and Underground, and he in his turn sent it further to Primo Bunali, who works as an associate to Frontiers Music. And one day he contacted me and just told me that Frontiers was very interested in talking to us about releasing an album. And Serafino, the president of the label, also contacted me, and we were quite confident that someone was bullshitting us at that point, because we hadn't physically contacted any label at all at that point. We just sent the demos out to reviewers and different magazines and stuff. So it actually took a couple of days until we replied, because we thought someone was playing possum, but the guitar player Anton, he convinced me to give it a shot. He told me this could be the thing, and it turned out it was. So and lucky for us that we replied finally, and he just said, like in his typical Italian manner, "We like your band. Can we sign you?" Something like that, and we were like, "Sure, let's rock and roll." So it's kind of fun story, and that's how it turned out.
Excellent. This is your first album with your new singer, Alex Waghorn. How did you find Alex?
After we parted, after we quit with the original lineup, it was a gap when we did nothing and just reformed. The three of us still in the band, me, the drummer, and the guitarist. And then in February of 2019, we just went viral and online, telling everybody that, hey, we're still alive, and now we're looking for a new frontman. And Alex was one of like 15 guys who wrote us the very same day. And we hadn't heard about him or his previous bands before, but he sent us a good package with photos and music videos and a couple of demos he sang on. and he was our first-hand pick from the start, and he lives up in Stockholm, which is in like the middle of Sweden, and the rest of us are in the southern part. So it's like a 6-hour drive between us. So it's not a very easy. We can't just knock on the door and say, "Hey, how are you doing?" So we booked an audition like 2 weeks later, and he came down, spent the weekend with us, and we tried him out in the studio and in our rehearsing space, and we were quite confident from the start that this was our guy, and he felt the same way. He felt very welcome, and he liked our sound and all that. So from that, it went very fast.
Is Tony Anderson's departure something you would like to discuss?
I mean, it belongs in the past. It's all acted out, and we really want to focus on what's going on forwards. It's what happened had to happen. That's all I can say. Okay.
Are you guys looking at touring? I don't know what the situation's like where you're from.
I mean, we have a lot of stuff in the pipeline, but I mean, the situation changes for every day now, and now it looks like the shitstorm is coming back again, and we won't make anything public until we know that we can pull through the whole process. I mean, we would like to play this year. I'm hoping we can do something this year, but honestly, I think we're the reality says that we're more looking into spring of 2022 when it comes to playing festival shows and minor touring and stuff.
So in addition to being a fan of everything 80s, I noticed that in another interview that you did that you're a wrestling fan.
Yeah, I am.
What organization is kind of the one that you follow the most?
Nowadays, I only follow WWE simply because I don't have time for much else.
Right. And the good part about the WWE is that you can go back on the old 80s stuff, which is kind of the stuff that I watch most of the time. I can watch the newer stuff, but I'd rather go back watching old WrestleMania and old SummerSlam because
exactly.
The nostalgia.
The old Royal Rumbles are my favorites. I think they're just amazing.
Absolutely.
On a rainy afternoon, that's what I do.
So are you working on any other projects or any other music thing, or is it just all Cruzh for you?
I'm also a member of an international act called East Temple Avenue, who released an album last year on AR Heaven, with members Robbie LeBlanc on lead vocals from Find Me. We have 2 Australian guys, Darren and Dan, from the Darren Phillips Project, Herman Furin from Work of Art on the drums, and Philip Lindstrand, who used to guest vocal on our live shows on lead guitar. So that's a fun side project for all of us. We still have our main bands, of course, but we produced a good album last year.
Oh, what was the album called?
Both Sides of Midnight, because that's how we roll in that band. 1 American dude, 2 Australians, and 3 Europeans.
Oh, we'll have to check that one out.
Do it. It's on all types of media, Spotify and stuff.
Awesome. So in the meantime, Cruzh has Tropical Thunder coming out August 6th. Frontiers Music. I listen to the album. Takes me back to the time I grew up, too. I think you got a really good one here.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
And I appreciate you taking the time to speak with Metal Express Radio today, Dennis.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me again.